right now. What's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Yo, It's the Kicks. So excited to, be back live once again with everyone. Hope everyone's having a good day right now. So this is the first episode of the new year and got a dope guest on the show, my man Jaykin. So
Man, big
excited to
salute.
have him. Yeah, man, excited. So it's second
Salute.
time coming back on the platform. We were just talking behind the
Yes.
scenes. It's the first time since 2020, since the COVID era, man. So excited to have him on the show. And I know that you mentioned, man, that everything's been going good on your end, family,
Yeah.
stuff like that, man. So how you been, man?
Man, I've been good, bro. I just been like really focused on just building the catalog, just
Mm-hmm.
more projects, not so much singles, but just having like actual projects. But outside of the music, I've been blessed, man. Was with the family. A lot of cousins came into town, and I wish I could have fly out this year to visit other family, but it was good though.
That's
It
good,
was good.
man. That's always good, to build with the family, man. I know during our holiday season we was all sick. And I was just talking
Oh,
about that just just before you came on live, man. We was all sick, dog. So the whole family got hit with the flu bug. Just about my
damn.
two daughters they came down with the flu. My wife caught the flu. My son, he had an ear infection. And so I was the only one standing. It felt like, the movie 28 Days Later or
Hmm.
28 years later felt like that, man. I was the only one surviving, man. Then I got hit. I got hit with a cold like on Christmas. I felt myself getting sick on
Jeez,
Christmas.
man.
It turned to a sinus infection. So man, we was down and out for about a good week and a half. So we just had Christmas dinner with my in-laws
Okay.
yesterday on New Year's because we were sick, we couldn't make it. So
Damn.
yeah, man. Yeah. Besides that, though, it was cool. We was in the crib, man.
Yeah.
Doing Christmas, opening gifts,
That's
had
that's
the
what matters.
tissue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, had the tissue on standby, the saline and stuff, the cough drops, all the medicines, but it was
Canada
still
Dry, maybe, on the
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We had that too. We had the ginger ale on deck. We had like two cases of that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was a different type of flu that hit this household. I've never seen this type of flu in my life, dog. I was like, yo,
Jeez,
this
okay.
different. So, but yeah, besides that, everything's going well, man. 2025 was a good year. I can't complain, man. So I'm
Yeah,
excited
nah.
for 2026. It sounds crazy even saying that 2026 because 2025 just went by so fast, in my opinion,
My
like
fast,
blink of an
definitely.
eye, dog. So, man, excited to talk to you about the new project, man. I know when you hit me, man, and told me you dropped a new project, man, I hit play, man, instantly, man, and listened to it. Man, I love the album, bro. We're gonna definitely
Hey,
go over,
appreciate
different tracks, man. Do a deep dive into it.
it. Mhm.
One thing I was talking as well earlier, like one thing I love about your music is not only just the variety, and versatility, but also like your ear for your beats is dope, man. Like you got a good ear for great production, like, and that's something
Man,
that I
that
always love, like the
I
production,
appreciate
right?
that.
Like, you know, I think that's very important, right? Because there's a lot of a lot of people that could spit, right? A lot of dudes that could spit, but
Mm.
it's the beats. The beats might be lacking. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man.
So that
When it
goes on. So
exactly, yeah. No, you absolutely like
yeah.
I got a whole kind of method on when I put together a project. I always start with the beats first,
Hmm.
because like when I usually get an email, they send me a folder, of like some usually send 50 beats, some
Hmm.
usually send three. But it always kind of works out because I just like to piece I prefer projects over singles, like an
Yeah.
EP or an album. But man, to hear that honestly, like I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that, man, because I don't know the way I
Yeah.
hear it versus somebody else, So no, I
Hmm.
appreciate that, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
bro, definitely, man. Had to shout that out, man. And definitely want to talk about the project, man. Ken, man. Want to talk about like the what's the inspiration behind the title of it, man? Because I know, that's part of your name as well, but
it.
also, knowing you, you really close with your family. That's very important. For you as well.
Oh,
Did that play a big part as far as the title of the album?
like we were kind of making a joke because like the word kin actually is like I used to live in Japan, and the
Mm-hmm.
producer of this project, he's from Japan as well, but I met him when he lived out here in
Okay.
he was in Toronto. I'm on the other side of Canada, but like Vancouver. So he sent me the beats, and I was just having a tough time trying to figure out what am I gonna call this
Yeah.
project because it was only supposed to be a single that we worked on, but I started piecing everything together, and I thought these five would fit well. And then
Yeah.
kin is actually it means gold in Japanese,
Okay.
and I could play that off the name, and then
Yeah.
kinfolk. So I always felt like talking about something a little bit like deeper rather than just having the whole like different subjects all across the
Mm-hmm.
whole project. Um, because I like to have a theme
Mm-hmm.
every time I put out an album. So Ken, it was actually just like kind of going where the producer was from and me living there.
Okay.
We just went with that title.
That makes sense, man. Because throughout the album, I heard those gems and those name drops about just financial literacy as well, and
Oh yeah,
also, for example, Mansa Musa. And I'm going to talk about a line about that. And
yeah.
we
Oh yeah,
what he was about, the
yeah.
goal,
Oh yeah,
building wealth. So that does make sense when I
yeah.
think about when you think about the album, man. So
Mhm.
that's really dope, man. And we're gonna talk about Data East, right? The intro, right?
All
The
right.
open the trap, man. I love that beat, dog. That beat, it sounds like some Gran
Yeah,
Turismo,
yeah,
like some dope stuff. Like you need to be in the whip. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, hey man, I love that joint, bro. That's definitely one of my favorite tracks on the
No, I
album.
appreciate that.
And I love the beat. I love everything about it. And we were just talking about the theme of the album, like you mentioned, gold. And you mentioned this line, man. You said this got me feeling like Mansa Musa, who's the man. Understand we got plans to maneuver, man. So,
Mhm.
like I mentioned with Mansa Musa, the richest person ever, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Black. He
That's right.
had an empire, man.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
goes hand in hand with the gold as well, right? With the theme, like you mentioned with Ken. But talk about that line, break that line down, man, because those were some dope gems that you mentioned right there.
Man, like that line was really first off with the beat, that was like the last beat that I picked out because I felt like the intro that I was originally going to use wasn't fitting. So it's crazy because that one just ended up being the last one. I feel like that kind of completed the whole project. And I wanted to have something a bit more like powerful, and in the intro, there's like my family's from the Caribbean, so there was
Mm-hmm.
a president or a prime minister who got assassinated in 1983. His name was this is Grenada, the island of
Okay.
Grenada, and his name was Maurice Bishop, and that's like a vocal clip of a speech. I believe it was the same year that
Mm-hmm.
he got assassinated. So I had to start off with a very strong line after
Yeah.
him, So that line, I felt like if I'm going to talk about goal, who else, do I need to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
Mansa Musa was and when it comes to me with financial literacy, I always try to just drop little gems,
Mm-hmm.
on any song. But this project, I felt like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna talk more about it and just kind of put that out there. I'll start mentioning names. If the listener want to look it up, you can look it up and figure out who it is. But Mansa Musa, yeah, he's the world's or the richest man in history,
Yeah.
black man, West Africa,
Exactly.
and like this is something that the Europeans, when his empire fall, they started portraying him different.
Yep.
They were drawing back then and putting like paintings, and then they started portraying him as like a regular citizen, and then
Mm-hmm.
eventually breaking him down to just like You know how they do it.
Yeah, you know how they do it, man. They try to twist and turn, man.
Yeah,
But what's dope about it now, in this information age, that we could go back and find the real history, right? And
yeah,
and
that's right.
also, people like yourself dropping gems, letting it know, like, this is our history as well. So I thought that line was dope, man. And also after you said, Mansa Musi said, "Who's the man?" Right? And could that could
Mhm.
refer to so much other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Understand we got plans to maneuver. You feel me?
Hmm.
So dealing with this system, we gotta identify who's the person really,
Yeah.
got the power. We got plans. We need to maneuver and try to,
Yeah.
overcome this. You feel me? So we
That's
could
right.
get to the top of the food chain. So I love how all that just broke down. And that track is dope, man. I love it,
Man, I
man.
appreciate that.
And I feel like that's a great start to the project
Oh,
right there. Yeah.
yeah. It was like I was going through all those 50 beats just trying to find that last one. And as
Yeah.
you said, who's the man? I was kind of
Yeah.
referring to like, America, because
Mm-hmm.
on the cover, it's a picture of the gold reserve where they hold all the gold. I believe
Yeah.
that's in Kentucky. I think that's Knoxville. And that was kind of like, I don't know the word for it, but I was kind of playing off that, comparing
Mm-hmm.
where gold is at today. So it's not really so much about emphasizing the power of
Yeah.
where the gold is now, but just
Mm-hmm.
letting people know that originally, that's all from foreign lands. So
Yes.
you're holding on, and that's why I did the image of the person where you can't see his face.
Yeah.
I was going deep. I was just trying to
Yeah. I love that. I love
drop
that,
gems where you can
man.
pick it up, listen
Pick it
it,
up.
listen to it again. So there's a lot of things that I try to make sure people could catch on the second
Inside.
or third
Yeah.
every time you listen to it, man.
And that what makes it dope. Like you find something new when you listen to those particular tracks, right?
That's
So
what
I
I want to
I
hear.
love that. I love that, dog. I
That's
love
what I
that
want to
part,
hear when
man.
I
For
hear an
real.
album. I want to hear that.
Yeah, that's what I would. I facts, man. And in the next track, right? I'm gonna go to different tracks as well. So the next track I want to talk about is Ken, right? The title track, really, the title track on the album featuring Asan Eastwood. And you said a line on there that was dope that caught my ear, man. You said keep it natural, black is beautiful, matter of fact, spiritual, contact African kings and Netherlands, right? So and it goes back to just that, like we was kings. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We still are kings, right? We
Yeah,
just gotta find that king within us, like we
yeah,
kings and queens.
yeah,
So break down that line, man, because that's another gem as well. That's dope.
yeah. What I use the acronym like KIN,
Yeah.
and I was throughout the whole verse. I'm saying things that break down or
Hmm.
use those three letters at the beginning of each word. Keep it natural, keep it neutral. Um, African kings and Netherlands,
Hmm.
and so forth. You could just listen to the whole verse, and hopefully, I was hoping people would catch that eventually. And that first line was really just me trying to say that going what going back to what God has kind of put, like the natural resources. I'm saying
Yeah.
that's how we were living. We were living off the land, and Africa
Hmm.
just happens to be the richest land on the planet.
Yeah.
It's over and over they keep taking and discrediting, that continent. But I was pointing basically just to go back to the land itself and live off that. Now we're living off
Yeah.
printed pieces of money, and then we exchange that to get our goods, man. And keep it neutral. That one I kind of went a bit deep because I was saying that in this time, a lot of people are very biased. You're either
Yeah.
on this side or that side. Since we last talked,
That's true. That's true.
it's
It
yeah,
went crazy, since
it's
then.
crazy right now. Like COVID was something else, but now it's everything,
bro.
you
It's
know. And
everything for real.
so I was trying to tell people to keep it neutral, not so much about just being stuck or not doing anything or not moving, but take a step back and not be so caught up on this side. It's not about the sides I'm talking about, but it's just taking a step back and seeing what's happening, thinking outside of the box. I would say when I say just keep it neutral,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
I continue that wordplay of using KIN. You know, not a lot of people caught that. You know, I was hoping
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
know,
Like for real, man. It was dope wordplay as well. And like you just mentioned, right, the line keep it neutral. It's so real because it's like it's
Mhm,
hard to keep it neutral now because people want you to pick a side. Like you either
exactly,
on this side, you're on the right side,
mhm,
you're on the left side, right? Is
exactly.
is craziness right now. So when it comes to that, and it's so amplified now because of
Yeah,
social media, like X, for example, is very amplified, right, when it comes to different people's opinions and stuff. So when I heard that, right, then also just to tie it back to when we was kings and queens in Africa, you know what I'm
hmm
saying? Like keep it natural, and that's a big thing right now, right? When people is going natural now, when you think
they are.
about it.
Yeah, even with food. Yeah,
So
you're right. You're
even
right.
with food, man,
Yeah.
so more than ever. And I
Mhm.
feel like, COVID was a part of that as well. You start seeing more people do
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
So I love that. I love that song, man. Shout out to Ason Eastwood as well for the verse. That was dope as well, man.
Big shout
So
out to Ason. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, that
yeah.
that
And
joint was crazy, man.
he definitely came through. He was actually in the studio while it was being mixed in Toronto. And shout
Okay.
out to Jesse Greenbeats. He's the one that mixed and mastered the project. Um, and he heard that song, and then he wanted to get on
Mm,
it.
damn.
And Jet, the engineer, he set that up, and it just worked out.
That's
Because
dope.
I wasn't gonna have any features on it, and I
Yeah.
didn't really want to do that. So big respect. He didn't charge me anything. Just just for the
So
love of it, and
that's dope, man. He heard
yeah,
it. He was like, yo, I gotta get on that joint. Yeah.
yeah. He's from the Caribbean as well, so I think we kind of like. Well, I'm not from there, but his family's from a different island. I believe it's
Okay.
Belize.
Oh yeah, Belize. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. So
where
he
that's
was
where
like,
Jay-Z mom from. His folks from Belize. They came from Belize
"Damn,
to
I didn't even
Brooklyn.
know that."
Yeah.
All we know is Shine. Usually,
So Sean, all you know is Sean, but yeah,
Shine.
Jay,
All we know
yeah,
is Shine
Jay,
went back, and now he's like,
yep. he like
man.
the Obama of the island right now. He like
Yep.
Obama over there, dog. For real, Sean. Shout out to Sean, man. Yeah, shout out to Belize, yo, yo.
Big respect to Shine out. The other line, the the Kings of Netherlands. That one,
Mhm.
I find like Holland is a place that has a lot of African history, but the European side tends to shut it down
Mhm.
and focus on whether they're doing the blackface cosplay. That's still a thing out there. They have like certain times of the year where they celebrate and they paint their face and the red lips and everything. And
That's crazy. They still
'cause,
doing minstrel
they
shows out there.
they have a lot of Moorish statues. That's what's crazy in Holland right now. They still have statues of Moors, African
Wow.
Moorish people all around that city. Whether it's on the buildings, they have some that is just a statue in the courtyard of just an African like dart, just all with the royalty kind of like the proper royal garments and
Yeah.
everything. And there's a huge African presence there as well. And these people have had generations, so they speak Dutch and everything. They're in
Mhm.
the society. But that was mainly my point, is just those that history is still in public
Mhm.
view, when I say African kings and Netherlands. So they were there, man, and it's all in the DNA. It's still all in us. I believe that. And if people could hear these lines and then start researching, because
Yeah.
it's not hard to find now.
Yo, man, that's so real, man. That's the perfect segue to the next question as well, because
Mm.
I remember back listening to, Nas, in the 90s when
Oh
I was a
yeah,
young kid. When I was a young kid, listening to
yeah.
Wu Tang and hearing them talk about the five percenters, Clarence 13X,
Mm.
hearing Nas, dropping gems and history lessons here and there.
Yeah.
Even with Jay, you know what I'm saying, and other artists as well that was doing that, right? Dropping those gems. AZ, for example, Common, cats like that
Yeah.
made you want to go and research, made you want to go read a book, you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I usually hear, I heard Big Pun used to read an encyclopedia, you know what I'm saying,
Damn,
in the
I didn't
dictionary.
know
And I could tell, you could tell, listen to his I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, because his vocabulary was crazy. So that made me want to go read a dictionary, learn some new words, right?
Yeah.
So, and with this album, you do a great job of having like a great blend of dropping gems throughout the songs, right?
I
It's not
appreciate
it's
that, man.
not preachy, right? But you dropping gems, and when people hear certain names and stuff like you mentioned, like, okay, I want to go
Mhm.
look this up. You know what I'm saying? I want to go look
Yeah,
this
yeah.
up, right? Like you mentioned, like the African history in Netherlands. That's something that
A
I
lot
didn't
of people
know.
don't know.
Yeah, didn't know about. So,
Mhm.
so that was great to hear, man. So discuss, how to, create that balance because I think that's much needed right now, especially in this climate that we are in right now.
I find like it's definitely there's not enough of it in music, especially hip hop. It's really leaning on the popularity side. Anything that's just getting into the charts and to balance it, I don't really. I think when you have those gems dropped in here and there, where people just have to pick it up, is not they're not overwhelmed with a whole lot of information
Hmm.
line after line. I know there's some artists that'll probably make that music and they have the audience to make that for, but for me, I like to have a balance where like Nas, for example. I think Nas is like a prime example of always
Yeah.
being able to drop gems ever since Illmatic. He's talking about the half man, half amazing,
Yeah.
Asiatic, and
Asiatic man.
you know,
Yeah. For
you know,
real.
I don't, back then I didn't know what it meant, but that word stuck in my head, and then
Hmm.
I finally caught it. Maybe looking on a or reading a book or on a website or on a movie, somebody talks about it. Then I could look it up, and then so. But Nas is he's really into his books. I heard,
He really, really
through
is.
other interviews, he's like that guy doesn't play. He's always just on this tour bus, just trying to find new
Yep.
gems to drop. And I definitely follow suit to have that balance where it's not oversaturated with a lot of information.
Yeah, yeah, and it's wavy at the same time. It's
Exactly,
wavy.
exactly,
It's
man. Yeah,
wavy as well,
yeah,
right? So I think that what makes it dope. When you think about some of the flyest guys, in hip hop, they was smart. They had
mhm,
knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You think
yeah,
about Nas. Nas one of the flyest dudes in the game. You know what I'm saying? But he had knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Even Jay. Another one. He
yeah.
had knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So, you think about Raekwon and Ghost, you know what I'm saying? They
Oh
dropped a lot
man,
of dope knowledge, you know what I'm saying? They one of the flyest guys
yeah,
in the so Grand Poopa, so the list goes on. So I
yeah,
love hearing that balance. I think it's really great, man. It's really dope. And I love that, bro. And speaking of being fly, right? The
mhm.
next track that we're gonna discuss is Let Live, right? And on the
Let
hook, you
live,
said, Get
yeah,
fly,
yeah,
stay humble is what we live by. You live and let die, right? It seems so simple, but it's so true, especially as we get older, right?
yeah,
You don't want to be out like that, you know what I'm saying? The clubs and stuff of that nature. So, you want to be out the way, you know what I'm saying? You want to make sure I'm
mhm,
good financially, still stay fly, stay humble, then at the
exactly,
end of the day, we all gotta, unfortunately die, but that's what it is,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and talk about that song, man, because I love just the overall theme of it, man. It was so dope.
I appreciate, man, yeah, that song. I felt like I still want to stay fly. Like I'm not gonna let go of looking for the latest sneaker. That's something that
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop doing. So I felt like this is probably a song where people can relate. Over time, you're not spending your money how we did in the
Yeah.
20s. You go to the club and like your intentions was different. So
Yep.
now my intentions is different. When I want to look fly, it's because I want to look fly, and then stay humble. Let live and let die, and that's the reality of it. We know now how fragile this life is, and you just got to really just take one day at a time and feel good while you're living this life. And that it's just
Mhm.
material things, but at the same time, we could really appreciate the quality of different sneakers and garments, whatever. But as long as we just realize that at the end of the day, you know, there's an end of the day.
That's the end of the day. Yeah. It's the end of the day. That's true. It
There's an end of
is.
there's an end to all of this, man. So just stay
Yeah.
humble, stay fly.
Yeah.
I was talking to a good homie of mine. He's up here from Florida, and he was just telling me how he just used to blow a whole check, at the mall, and like he go to the club, you know, same thing, just the rest of the money is going into the drinks, and you got all your
Mhm.
clothing on. But then we were talking about like how we didn't invest that money, but at the time it was just the intentions was focusing on other things, and
Mhm.
so now, it's just like that song was basically from then to now, just the mindset of staying fly is how I put that song together.
Yeah, man. You know what? That's so real, dog. Because as we get older, right, still want to stay fly,
Mhm.
right? But inflation done went up. You know what I'm saying? It done went up, dog. So you still want to find
Yeah.
ways to stay fly. So stuff that did appeal to us when we was younger, don't appeal to us now. So we might get something that's less cheaper but comfortable and still fly at the end of the day,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So, for example, like some New Balances or something like that, right? Or
Yeah.
some Saucony joints, right? And
Yeah.
they be dropping dope colorways, but it's not the
Soccer,
price. It's
man.
not the price tag of a 200 or 220 for some Jordans, which I still shout out to JB, shout out to Jordan Brand, got people
Yeah.
up there, but still,
Yeah.
that still is a ticket for every sneaker, especially we got family now, kids. So, you could save $100
Mhm.
with another brand like a Saucony or New Balance, right? Or even damn near save 150, right?
Mhm.
And still be fly, still be fresh. So I love that aspect that you just mentioned when it comes to that, man. And when I was listening to that track, right, it reminded me of like when I first heard Life's a Bitch, going back to Nas and AZ, man,
Yeah.
because you
Like,
know
and then you
that's how
die.
I feel. You go.
Yeah.
That's why we get high, right? You never know
'Cause you
when you
never
gotta
know when you're
go.
gonna go. Yeah.
So it make you, when you think about that, like, yeah, at the end of the day, life is short. So you gotta
Yeah.
really appreciate everything that's around you because it's still beautiful stuff around you. You just gotta appreciate it. So
Mhm.
and find that beauty. So I love that track, man. So I felt like that was a really dope message, and that's what I took from listening to that track as well. And another track that I want to talk about, and I forgot to mention this to you as well, right? It was the Fool's Gold, the last joint on the
Mhm.
album, right? I love that beat, man. Love that track, right? That
Oh
just
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That
yeah,
sample is he went crazy on
crazy.
that
It went
sample. Yeah.
crazy on it. So talk about Fool's Gold.
Fool's gold, man. Yeah, I didn't know what to do with that song because that hook, I didn't even know what she was saying, and then he sent me the
Hmm.
original sample, and I kind of, I couldn't really do something with gold on what she was saying, but
Hmm.
that track was like more gems. I
Yeah.
found myself just kind of playing with that whole like, the gold theme, and then,
Yep.
playing off double entendres and metaphors, and but that one that was the best way to end the project for me, because that beat just really stood out as possibly, like a single.
Yeah.
I feel like push that one a little bit further than KIN.
Yep.
And but yeah, that collaboration. with Cedar. Shout out to Cedar as well.
Yeah,
Cedar
shout out
Laws.
to Cedar.
Hopefully he's
Cedar
watching this.
Laws.
Maybe he's still sleeping. I don't know what time it is in Japan, but he yeah, he's doing his thing. He's definitely doing his thing. So I hope we could work again because that Fool's Gold beat
Yeah,
definitely stood out.
crazy.
And I can't really break down the topic because I was just dropping gems, man. Honestly, it was
Yeah,
my
it was. You was on that joint, and that joint dope, right? I love that. Because it kind of goes back to like everything that glitters ain't gold. You know what I'm saying?
that's
Don't
right.
get fooled by it. Don't get
That's
fooled
right.
by it, right? And that goes along. That goes along to a lot of cats, especially in the music industry right now, right? The music
Mhm.
industry. So definitely, man. Shout out to Cedar Laws as well. It's just pretty amazing just how global the culture
Yeah,
is. Like it really is. Like it's so
never met
dope.
this
Like
dude, so
yeah, that's dope,
yeah,
yo. Like that's crazy. Like how
yeah,
dope is so much talent all over
crazy
the like
talent.
for real, like
Yeah,
crazy talent, yo. Like that's crazy. So shout out to Cedar Laws. Definitely want to talk about how do you feel about just the current sneaker culture right now? In fashion culture, how do you feel about it right now? Because I know when we talked back in 2020 and stuff like that, it was kind of like in a bubble, right? And during that
um,
time frame, but now it's so much done changed. You see collaborations at a high rate right now.
yeah,
How do you feel about it? Retros is dropping nonstop. Is that a good thing? Is that a
still,
bad thing? Is it
still,
oversaturated? So how do you feel
still.
about that right now?
It's crazy because since we last talked, I remember we talked about this. I
Yeah.
remember us talking about like the internet, basically
Mm-hmm.
shopping online, and I find, the last purchase I made of a pair of sneakers was at a store, and I wasn't even planning. I just walked in
Yeah.
and I just saw this pair. I've never seen this model. I think it was
Mm.
the 2010. Yeah, it's a 2010 New Balance,
Okay.
and that's what I have better memories of going into a store and then finding something I like. But now that's just not as common because you
Mm-hmm.
can't really compete with the internet these
Yep.
days. And the oversaturation of the retros, even though the '90s is my favorite
Yeah.
time, but overall it's just like there's no room to breathe anymore.
Nah,
It's like you walk into that store and then you're on your own. Now it's like as soon as
dog.
there's a drop, it's gone, and then you just like like for me,
Yep.
the prime example was like I'm definitely a gamer. Like I love my fighting games, like the PlayStation
Mm-hmm.
2, like Tekken. Tekken, that's one of my
Yep.
favorite games. And Tekken did a drop with the phone posits.
Yo, the phones. Yep.
Gone,
Gone.
man. Like just like I was ready. I had the
Listen,
money set aside, and then see it's times like that that make me miss going into a store, and you're not gonna find those Tekken phone posits every sneaker store just
no.
because it's such a limited run. So, I'm glad that everything's is accessible, but it's just not
Yeah.
really. It's just too many people coming in, and they're just trying to get their piece and go. They're not trying to really build up the sneaker culture as it
Yep.
was.
I
So
agree.
it's crazy, man. I don't shop as much for
It
sneakers, to
it
be honest.
is.
I didn't want to say that on this show, but I did tell you that
Yeah.
it just
You did tell
it's
me
not that I
though.
don't want to buy sneakers. It's just like it comes to a point now where I'd rather just go out to a shop and purchase a shoe rather than go. And then if it's online, maybe I'll do a purchase. The up tempo 95s, the teal ones.
Hmm.
They put those out. That's probably one that's on my list because I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? That's a good point that you brought on. I feel like it should be a more of a topic as well in
Mm.
discussions. Is that when it comes to, because we all, have, love or passion or really enjoy just the
Yeah.
sneaker culture as well, right? Or just buying sneakers and just getting fly. But sometimes it does take the love out of it at times when it comes to the accessibility, or not even just the accessibility, or just getting a sneaker that you really want. Guess what? It's sold out instantly,
Mhm.
right? It's sold out instantly, and a lot of them drops is not in the stores no more. So you
No.
gotta go online. And if it sells out online, guess what? The resale price is gonna hike up, right?
Man, those tech.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I
gonna
got.
hike up, and that kind of make you kind of say, you know what, man,
Man,
forget
I don't
this.
need these.
Yeah, it's some bull.
I'm like,
You
man, I
know,
don't need these
you
shoes.
ever need this? It kind of,
And the crazy part is, I would never say that.
yeah.
When I was blowing
Mm-hmm.
a whole check, like me and my homie was saying, like I
Yeah.
would never say that. I don't need those shoes. No, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get these shoes regardless because they're
Regardless.
right here. And but now it's just like that's just part of
Yeah,
it.
that's how it is, and not only that, it's like, damn, okay, I used to be on these websites like Nice Kicks or Sneaker News every day, Soul Collector, right? Then after stuff like that happens, you like, next thing I know, I haven't checked the sneaker website in a month now. That's how kind of get, you know what I'm saying? And with other stuff going on, it's like, okay, I can't really focus on that. So it kind of take away, people might jump in and jump back out, right? When they do see a sneaker that appeal to them, like a retro or something like that, for example, like the Jordan 8s that just dropped before the end of the year, the Buzz Bunny joints, right? So I do get that. I get that, dog, because I be fighting myself with it, right? I try to stay on top of everything, but it be times where it be like, you know what? Okay, I'm tapping out. I'm tapping out, man, because it does gets to a point like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm not primarily prioritized. I'm prioritized towards other stuff. Like, for
Yeah.
example, my kids, before I get a pair of sneakers, I make sure they laced up. You know what I'm saying? So if I miss out on sneakers, I could get in their size at this age right now because they're
Yeah.
young. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely get that. And not only that, I don't know if you have this same mindset, but it's like, I look for comfort now. When I was younger, it probably didn't matter if they was comfortable, right? I'm still
Mhm.
gonna rock them. They fly,
Yep.
but I gotta have a blend of both. If they're fly
Yeah.
and also if they're comfortable, right? And also if they in my budget as well, just to be real with you, right? I ain't gonna spend just three
Yeah.
hundred, 200 like I used to. Nah, bro, I gotta I gotta think about that. So do you feel that same type of effect as well? Like, hey, I gotta make sure these comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. I'm not looking for just the flyness no more. I'm looking for if they are
Oh
comfortable.
man,
As
definitely.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think I caught myself actually getting into that whole mind state of going for comfort now last year when I was like, reaching out to my brother because he works at an outlet,
Mm-hmm.
so he gets like different type of sneakers like Under Armour. These are shoes that, focus more on comfort. The soles are a bit
Yes.
more, you know, focused on that, versus me walking around in a pair of gold bullets, like the Air Max 90
Yeah.
or Air Max 95s. Man, I can't walk around like it's not that I can't, but it's just those shoes back then weren't really designed with the technology, and I can't really see myself. I don't want to wear them, for a whole
Yeah.
and then get tore up. So I'd rather have something comfortable. But definitely like Under Armour shoes, New Balance, Adidas. It's that's why I'm not really purchasing shoes.
Yo,
I'm
like,
not
for real.
really buying the
Yo,
sneakers like I used to. It's too much energy to to find that one that I
to
want now.
find that one, it really is. It's a lot of energy spent. I know I was out yesterday for my dad's birthday. Me, my brother, and our family, and we was doing golfing, like putt golfing, right?
All right.
And it was like 18 holes, right? And it was dope. But my brother had the fours on. He had the Air Jordan fours on. And and he was like, yo, I can't do no more. We like on hole 13. He like, dog, my damn feet barking right now, dog, with these Jordans on right now, bro. It was like I should have thrown my damn X or something, the Adidas, man, the Ant twos or some damn, something with some Boost Air or something. He was like, bro,
Yeah.
I can't do it. My feet is barking right now, bro. And I'm like, that's a perfect example, dog. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man. Yeah.
Of having that being comfortable now, man. So, you know, I want to get your thoughts on this since you're an artist, right? And I know last time
Mhm.
we talked, it's been more collaborations now. I feel like it's more collaborations more than ever. And I
Yeah.
do like this aspect. I heard people say I'm tired of collaborations. I like collaborations. I definitely like it because I get to know a brand that I might not be aware of, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know this other brand, this bigger brands collaborating with this artist, shining a light on them. So now we were seeing a lot of mainstream acts doing collaboration. You've seen Ye in the past, you've seen Travis Scott,
That's right.
those cats. But now we're seeing a lot of cats like the designers. We're seeing like the Jerry Lorenzos. We're seeing Jay Tips, who was a rapper at first. He was a rapper. Like a lot of people don't know. He was an
Yeah.
artist at first. He made a song that I sold my pair of Yeezys. You know what I'm saying? He had to sell them for
Okay.
money, right? And that was in the early like 2010s, and he created his own brand, and that took off with the hats and stuff like that. Shout out to the homie Jay Tilson. He did a collaboration with Saucony. So we seen cats like that, like a
Yeah.
Child of Terminology, did a collaboration with Union. He
Mhm.
dropped two sneakers with them, which was dope. So I'm seeing more like independent artists, right? Getting these deals. West Side Gun
Yeah.
with Saucony, Action Bronson with
Action
New
Bronson.
Balance,
Yes.
right? I do like that aspect because I feel like they going with the cats who actually are. Not saying
Independent.
other cats, but they really have a passion for
Yeah.
for this shit. Like West Side Gun, that's what he loved. He loved that. He loved fashion. He loved sneakers. So
Mm.
J Tips, the same person. Love fashion, love sneakers. So how do you feel about with you being an independent artist yourself, seeing that it's like okay, you know what? That could potentially happen as well,
Yeah.
or just seeing that door just opening. Like how I love that right now because I feel like, hey, they don't gotta go to the cat who's selling millions and millions of records.
Yeah, it's not on the corporate
He's not
side
it's
as
not on the
much
corporate
now. It's like,
side. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. As you said, like independent artists. That's a perfect, phrase to say it. Because it's when it's independent. I find it's just more relatable to the people. You're not really going
Yeah.
through 100 middlemen and trying to figure out why they did this colorway. Now you could have somebody that you listen to every day, and then you get a chance to know something outside of his music, and he designed this with the obviously with the help of a team, but this represents him the best way on this model. And I think I'm all for it. I support that.
Yeah.
As long as the corporate side custom the check properly and represents,
Agree.
because it's still a corporate business,
Yeah,
man.
it's
Like
still corporate
they
business, dog.
still got things to
That's
pay off
real.
and money to
Yeah.
make on top of it. But the fact that they're actually reaching out to independent artists and not just going for like the stadium status artists that are selling out and they know they'll get their money guaranteed and more. Uh, I just hope it continues. I'm definitely not tired of the collaborations, man. Like Rich Paul
Yeah.
did a collab with that New
Yep.
Balance, the
With New
2010.
Balance.
That's
Yep.
yeah. So that
Yep.
same model was I got it in a different colorway, but then I saw his. I was like, damn, So that's what I like to see, because it's definitely
Yep.
on a like for the people, for the culture is more personal and
More
it's not,
personal. Yeah.
it's not through the middlemen that are just trying to
Hmm.
figure out the best way to market it and using numbers on the screen. So
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's just go with a
yeah,
person with the brand name who don't know nothing nothing
Yeah.
at all about sneakers or fashion.
They
Don't
just put the
know a
product in
damn
their hand. They
thing.
know it's gonna.
Yeah, they
They know it's gonna
know.
sell.
But when you do it with
Yeah.
someone who generally enjoys it, right, then you
Yeah.
know it's gonna have a long lasting effect. So yeah, I agree with that, dog. So before we go, man, definitely just wanna, you know, talk about the overall theme of this album, right? Because I
Mm.
feel like with this project, man, it's so many dope layers on it, right? And I feel like a lot of your projects have it on it, but I feel like this one just felt different, right? Because I feel like you just mentioned we was talking about, right? Just the overall theme of the album.
Yeah.
You talked
Yeah.
about the metaphors, the double entendres that was going with it, right? Talking about, our history as well,
Mhm.
and talking about, okay, the time is now more than
Yeah.
ever to create our plans down, right?
Yeah.
To get that financial stability, right? To live out your dreams. I feel like it had all of that in this project. Do you feel like, because I know, every project is different, but do you feel like this is like the best, or if not one of the best projects that you put out as far as the complete body of work? Because this project, I love it, man. I really do. I love everything
I
about it, man.
appreciate that, bro.
So, do you feel like that as well for this project?
Appreciate. Definitely. I think this is my most clear written project, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
As far as somebody to pick it up and listen to it front to back, you'll understand what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I say this is my best written project, and me and Cedar were talking about how it just came together so quick. It probably took us about six 6 months, to write and get everything mixed and
Mm-hmm.
change things up. So man, I haven't really had a chance to just like think about comparing it to
Mm-hmm.
past projects, but this one I find this is like I'm most proud of just because of the plans that I had before
Mm-hmm.
I started writing to it. I was able to check off everything that I was trying to do and say,
Mm-hmm.
and it came together with the beats. I was, everything just checked off properly. So definitely I could say that this is, if like, one of my best, but probably my best so far. And I
Yeah.
always like to outdo. The thing is, I'm always ready for the next project to outdo this one. So, and but what really catches me is like response and then feedback. If people like
Mm-hmm.
this, then maybe I'm gonna shift some of my lyrics on how I'm writing and pay attention to
Yeah.
that, and start working on the next project how a little bit more different than what I was intending to do it, like just the same kind of rhythm
Mm-hmm.
that I was going to. So definitely, man, this one is probably one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
hope I hope I could press it on vinyl.
That'll be dope.
And it's like 5 tracks, just like the artwork kind of has a statement itself. So, but we'll see, man.
Yeah, I
We'll
just
see.
got a
I'm
new
still in
record player
between.
too for Christmas. So I just got a new,
Yeah.
I just got
No,
a
I
new
got you.
record player in there.
I
So
got
that
you,
would be
man.
perfect. That would be perfect
I
for
got
that,
you, man.
man. But definitely, I love that, and I feel like it's like a renaissance now, where people is focusing more on the lyricism, but
Mm,
also
yeah.
I'm loving what I'm hearing right now. And when I listen to your project, I was thinking about this. It's a great blend of just having sprinkling those gems here and there, right? And
Yeah.
talking about our history, talking about financial literacy, talking about getting it right, staying fly. But
Hmm.
I'm hearing more artists as well like that, and I love to hear that, man, because every time I hear a project, right, it depends on what mood I am, but I love hearing stuff that maybe I never heard for one, or they dropping some history that, okay, I need to go research this. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned
Yeah. Yeah.
earlier, right? When I think about yourself and you represents that Rome Streets, Larry June as well, shout out to my homie Vic Spencer, Eddie Kane, ST Nat,
That's
even
yeah.
uh West Side Gun, another one as well, like it's dope because you hear those gems. You just gotta listen to it. You listen to it, then the beats, and I feel like music is so important when it comes to our vibrations, right? If you listen to certain music, your vibrations gonna be low. Just is what it is. You might
Yeah.
be on some Murder Man type shit, right?
You can say
Right?
anything.
Say anything, right?
Yeah.
Like some killer man type stuff, though. I'm like, yo, man, I gotta turn this off. I'm a family man now, right? But you listen to certain music, it's gonna push your vibrations up, gonna
Mhm.
make you wanna, go get it, be positive, you know what I'm saying? Make you wanna go read and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So how do you feel about that renaissance right now? Because I'm seeing it. I know it's other people saying hip hop ain't what
Mhm.
it is now, but hip hop ain't never been really glitz and glamour. It really haven't. It's just that we have artists that sold records and stuff, but really
Mhm.
it's the CNN of the trees. That what Chuck D used to say back in the
Yeah.
'80s. So, how do you feel about that renaissance right now that's going on in hip hop? I would say.
It's I don't know when it started, but I remember hearing Larry June talk about his credit score. And
Yeah.
I remember I was driving and I had to kind of stop, nod in my, and that caught me off guard. And it's like artists realize now that they can be teachers at the same time, but still like have that fly look
Hmm.
and talk about what they're gonna talk about. But at the same time, I want to give you this gem to take
Hmm.
with. Since I got your attention with the other things that you're probably gonna focus on more, and at the same time, I think is real necessary because music can really be a powerful tool, and at the same time, it can be a tool to kind of bring a lot of destruction, as you said, like a lot of low vibration music.
Hmm.
I was in the car with somebody just playing all of that, and I'm just like, man, it's you could tell just the
Yeah.
energy of it, from the beat as well, and the artist is just gonna kind of go with that vibe, and
Hmm.
you don't need to. You could actually just start going into different topics, and I think it's time for hip hop to really start going in different lanes on what they're
Yeah.
talking about. You don't have to, go down that lane through a whole album, but in this time of information, we really got to start just throwing out these gems, man. The youth really need it.
Yeah.
We need it, all
We need
ages.
it.
It's great, man. I couldn't complain. It seems like an independent, like an indie artist thing,
Yeah, it is. It does.
and I'm glad that that's the shape of it because a lot of people don't really know what's going on in the indie world. I try to tell people
Hmm.
this artist, but they just focus on you know the the straight murder killing
Killing.
type of
Yeah.
tracks out there. That's what they think is what hip hop is now. But you got a lot of artists out there that are just putting together uh, amazing albums,
Amazing
not just
albums.
singles,
Amazing
albums.
albums.
That's what I
Yeah,
want to hear. Just
yeah,
albums.
amazing, man. I agree, man. And I heard Panamera P said it. Shout out to Panamera P from Chicago, dope artist, man. And I was watching one of his interviews recently, and he was saying like, artists have to understand their lanes. When he started rapping, his people's like, hey man, you need a track with this artist, you need a track with Sexy Red, get a track with Sexy Red, you out there, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You get a track with Lil Baby, that's gonna be it. But he like, that's not my lane, you know what I'm saying? So why would
Yeah,
I do that?
that.
That's not
Yeah,
my lane.
yeah,
That's not gonna work for me. So
yeah,
you spend all that money for a feature and he ain't gonna go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not my fan base. So my fan base is more like, you know, contemporary. You know what I'm saying? Contemporary hip hop. When it comes to those soulful driven beats. Artists. My fan base who grew up in the '90s in the golden
mhm,
age. That's what they love. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna stay with
yeah,
that. So, and I think artists have to understand their lanes because I think they'll spend money for this big feature, and that feature ain't gonna be. That's not even their lane. They can't even build with
yeah,
that person. You know what I'm saying? So. or a producer, a particular producer. So you got to stick to what your lane is. And I feel like, once cats find a lane, then you'll start seeing that. You'll start seeing that uptick, you know what I'm
Facts.
saying, as
Yeah.
far as with
Yeah.
they algorithm and even with sales and stuff like that.
It's
So,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
went, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So I think that plays a part.
It's 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 definitely one thing that I need to understand, like, what's my lane and what do I want from
Hmm.
it? What's my intentions of going down,
Hmm.
this type of style, or I'm always saying this, so it's just like, because at the end of the day, it really just creates artists. It gives them their own ID. And now we have a whole bunch of
Hmm.
artists who have their own ID, how it was. We could talk about how the 90s and early 2000s artists had their own style. And, it's really, really interesting to just see that the independent world is starting to embrace that without even talking
Yeah.
about it. They just feel like, I'm going to bring something artistic. And some are talking about the same thing as others, but the artistic value, the art value of the albums and EPs is definitely there. And I think it's just going to get to a point where, with AI as well, artists are just going to start focusing on their own ID, their own print,
Hmm.
because that's what an artist is. If that makes
Yeah.
sense. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm not.
No, it does.
It's really, sticking to your own lane. I'm glad you said that, because sometimes I got to tell myself, because I could make a this type of album with this producer who makes all these type of beats that everyone's listening to, and then I can
Hmm.
switch it up. But is that what I, even with the
Is that
production, is that my lane? Not just so much me what I'm writing on the beat, but the beats itself is something that I try to be versatile, but at the same time I gotta not go down a lane that is just not what I'm trying to represent, and it's just not me.
represent? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's real. That's real
Yeah, I
talk, man.
appreciate
For
that.
real.
You
Yeah.
preaching, man. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like you gotta
yeah.
like and that stuff, it's so real, man, especially in the media world, even what I'm doing, like I heard people say, hey man, we got this guest asked on about this,
Mm.
question. It's gonna be a clickbait question. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Ah.
I'm like, nah, bro, I don't want to ask that, man. Like, I don't want to do that, man. Like, come on, man. Like, I ain't trying to create no scandal or nothing
Yeah.
like that over here. So, or create some clickbait material, man. Do some trolling type shit. I'm like, nah, man. I try to stay away from all that, man. Just let the
Yeah.
content speak for
Yeah.
itself because
I
I know it is
appreciate what
people
you're
that
doing.
that really, yeah, it's people that really appreciate it. So that's what I'm going to stick to that's what I'm going to stick to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For one, so yeah, but a lot of people fall into victim of that,
Yeah.
and I'm
We
like,
wanna
man,
we
all
wanna
that stuff,
survive, man. We wanna survive.
yeah, we're gonna
Full
survive,
time
man,
artist is not an easy thing to
for
do
real.
now. It's
Yeah, it's
possible,
not.
and I think, sorry to cut you off, but
Yeah.
I had to say it before I forget. It's just like, artists really want to survive and
Hmm.
live off their art. Live off the time
Hmm.
that they put in. Like, they would go to a 9 to 5 and clock in, clock out.
Yep.
But with music, you're not gonna get that hourly pay, even if it's hours. And, like, it took me 6 months to, and maybe the project wasn't costly to get mixed down, but just that time alone.
That
I
time.
gotta, for work, I gotta pay bills, and it all goes
Yep.
with time and what I'm spending my time doing. And but artists really need to understand that that's very important, man. Myself as well. I'm
Yeah.
talking to myself as well, bro. But
Yeah, that's real, man. That's real because, like you said, it takes time. Like as creators, it for some people that I know, a lot of people that I know, in myself, personally speaking, my experience is I got to be in a certain mood, a certain vibe. Like sometimes if I create, I need to be by myself. I don't need to be around a lot of people. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I gotta have quietness. I might have to have some music playing. um, I have to be feeling positive. You know what I'm saying? If I want to create something, sometimes I might have that right, but I might not even feel like doing anything. Like, damn, what? So you have to really push
mm,
yourself when it comes to like a artist, because it takes time. It takes time, and I think people don't be getting that aspect, and sometimes, if you in it just for the dollar, then that shit ain't gonna be long lasting. If you in it for the love and
yeah.
just, the money's gonna come. I always say that the money's gonna
You
come.
will.
So
Mhm.
I think, for creators, from people outside looking in, like, they don't understand that aspect. You know what I'm
That's the
saying?
part
Like they
right there.
don't.
That's
Yeah,
exactly it. I think every artist kind of, I don't want to say struggles with it, but they've had times where they realize that people don't understand what they're doing as an independent artist, whether you're upcoming, whether you
hmm,
kind of have some stability, but it's not every month. Um, it's just being misunderstood as an artist. I think is
yeah,
something that I had this conversation about how people value art in today's time, versus like those
hmm,
great depression times. Like, I mean, like, like way back, I'm talking like Mozart, whether it's music or paintings, the value
hmm,
of art is something that's like, it's just not a painting hanging on a wall at a gallery or something like that, but it's really just like, I think society has kind of forgot. I'm going deep here, but it's just a
yeah,
conversation I have at times that people need to really value and understand why we need it. In today's times, especially in today's times, because I think people we're all, well, not all, but mentally, people are just in a place that's where they're kind of lost and they're just trying to navigate with all this information. The cost of living is going up. Not just you think it's just your city, but it's worldwide right now, man. Like, I got
worldwide,
people
worldwide.
moving from Asia. I said I lived out there. They're moving out here, trying
Hmm.
to find something better. But at the same time, you coming into the same situation, and maybe
Same situation.
you'll be a bit more inspired if you're coming here as an artist, and that could probably be a good benefit to you, that you could actually just start, getting into a different mind state, that you're going to start making art that people are going to catch.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
yeah, man, it's the survival of it is crazy. It's
Yeah, it is.
but
It
love
really
it.
is,
As you
dog.
said, if you love it,
Yeah,
that's what's
yeah. That's gonna keep you going every
yeah.
time, every time, yo. And, thank
Hey,
you for coming on the show, brother, man. Appreciate it,
bro,
bro. Thank you,
appreciate
man, for everything, bro. I know before we go, man, I didn't know if you want to let the people know, is it anything else you
Oh
working
yeah.
on that you want to let the people
Oh,
know, man,
definitely. I got
before we go? Yeah.
as I said at the beginning of this, I've been just building the catalog. So I got another project, an
Hmm.
EP coming out with a New York producer named Benji Socrates. And this project,
Oh, I heard of Benji.
yeah,
Heard of Benji. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
Benji.
he's nice, man. He's just like
Yeah.
always just putting out collab projects with different artists. And
Hmm.
so we got a 5-track EP coming out this year. And I got another one, a volume 2 of End of the Summer that I put out in 2020. Um, so
Okay.
that's with K Fisher. He's actually he works with Larry June quite a lot. He's the one that did the track, I think it's 30 Days, Expensive Roses. Like this brother's nice. Like kind of a
Okay.
secret weapon. I find like he just
Yeah.
like is really low key, but he's out there. K Fisher is his name. So we did
Fisher.
that laid back West Coast, but the beats that I picked wouldn't necessarily be his style, for Larry June. I wanted to have my own
June.
kind of signature and not just
Set.
get,
Yep.
make me a pack of Larry June type beats. But no, so the Armor King I put out, it's called AK. He did the production for that one, if you want to know the lane we're kind of going with. But yeah, man, bonus too. That's another album coming out, and I got some
Okay.
merch for this EP for Ken.
Dope.
So I'm
Dope.
I'm trying to like I'm busy, man. I'm busy. Like, I'm
Yeah.
printing.
Locked
I'm doing
in.
all the printing for the merch. I got these hoodies, and I'm trying to get the right blanks with champions. So I'm
Yeah.
testing out, just different blanks, and just figuring it out. But the merch is something that's always gonna be there because I want people to have
Okay.
the physical, and hopefully
Yup.
I'll press some vinyl for Ken. I got
Vinyl.
you, bro. I'm definitely
Yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah.
you've been
Looking forward to
supportive
that,
of
man.
what I do for a minute. So,
Yeah.
but that's all I can really say. Oh, and shout out to a gamer, a Tekken gamer
Okay.
in Tennessee. I think he's from Memphis. Shinblade.
Tennessee.
Shinblade,
Okay.
yeah.
Skin play.
Shinblade and
Okay.
Lil Majin. They're both from
Skin blade.
Memphis. I know you are. I think you
Shout
in
to
Nashville.
Nashville.
Yeah, yeah.
Nashville. Shout out to the M Town though. I got a lot of family in M
Okay,
Town.
okay.
Yeah, I got a lot of
Yeah,
yeah.
man, they're definitely doing their thing. Like as I said, I'm a gamer and I pay attention. And these are two brothers as well, and they're definitely laying their mark
Mm-hmm. That's
the gaming
dope.
world, man. So shout out to those two brothers, Shinblade.
Yeah, shout out to Shin
Appreciate
Blade.
this,
Shout out to
man.
them. Real.
Appreciate this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no problem, man. Thank you, man. Come on the platform anytime, bro. You always welcome,
hey,
man. Like I
true.
said, thank you, brother, man. Appreciate this conversation, dog. So well needed, man. So everyone go stream that new
Yes, sir.
platform. Ken is on all streaming platforms right now. So Tidal, Apple Music,
All of
Spotify,
that.
all of
All of
that,
that.
all of that.
Bandcamp,
So go
whatever,
band
man.
camp, all of that, all of
MySpace.
that for
It's
real.
gonna be everywhere,
Yeah,
man. And I
yeah,
appreciate people to go check it
yeah.
out, and it's definitely worth 15 minutes of your time. That's all.
Yes, for
It's
sure.
15 minutes,
For
man.
sure, it definitely is.
All right,
Yo,
man.
thank you, man. Thank you for coming on the show once again, Don. Thank everyone for tuning in as we kick in the new year. Love and live life,
Yes, sir.
everyone. Peace.
All right, man.